Just when you thought you wouldn't hear from us again on The Mandalorian, here we are, and we're going to give an overall kind of review of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and maybe head into speculation territory with what's going to happen in Season 3. Good?
Yeah, am I allowed to eat after 8s and drink while we do this?
Yeah, do whatever you gotta want.
All right, fair enough.
It's the holidays, right?
Fair enough. Oh, yeah.
Going into lockdown.
Happy holidays.
Okay, so let me start us off. This season was possibly one of the greatest Star Wars seasons and or
Sequence of events.
like a saga type area of movies. You know what I mean? Greater than the last season of Clone Wars, which we hold pretty dearly.
That's a big statement.
Better than the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, the prequels are a tough one.
I mean,
like,
they can save it if Baby Jar Jar shows up at the beginning of season 3.
it's such a love-hate relationship with them. But anyways, it was amazing. And so what I really loved about this season in particular is
that every episode you said,
it was great.
This has been my favorite episode ever. Yeah, there should literally be a drinking game for that.
But we got things we've never really seen before. So one, humanizing the Empire. There was constant dialogue throughout this season on, shining that light on the Empire. We've talked about a lot how they're everyday people. We got when they're returning from bringing in the Rhydonium tankers and everyone's cheering them on, like, you guys made it.
It's like that Top Gun moment I was talking about in the review, right?
And then all the way to the guy on the shuttle talking about, the rebels are essentially terrorists and that Alderaan was a small price to pay for all the lives lost in the Death Star. It's like, it's an interesting look that, we grew up, oh yay, rebels, they blew up all the bad guys, but they're not all bad guys.
No, and I think you get a little glimpse into that with that scientist.
Yeah.
Who is not a bad person. He's just a scientist and actually ends up helping them with the schematic plans of Moff's light cruiser. Talks about how he's like, you're wrong about the schematics here, and this is where they're being held.
Contained here. They need to be powered up. Yeah, he gave him the lowdown willingly. He's like, hey,
he was about the love. He was about the love of the science, right? And the child. He didn't want to hurt, Grogu or anything like that. It was just about advancing science. He was a clone doctor. Do they call him a clone? Something?
A cloner.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. One of them cloners.
One of them cloners on Camino. Hey, Dexter Jocks. And I think you and me both agree the standout thing of this season, even more so than the first, and why it sets it apart from other Star Wars properties, is the amount of heart and emotion and character development it had. The arc that Din Djarin takes with Baby Yoda is phenomenal.
I mean it's an absolute transformation from something, from the word go season 1
to a bounty hunter, right?
From a bounty hunter to this, like he was a heartless. He wanted all. Do you remember in the first episode, talks to Apollo Creed and he wants all of the actual.
Yeah, give me
pucks.
all the pucks.
Give me all of them. To the end of this, where he's like, I'm only here for this child. My only interest is the protection of the kid.
Yeah, his beliefs have been such a big storyline that he now questions them. You know what I mean? He swore he was gonna get some on that planet. That girl loved him in episode 4 or 5 first season. You know what I mean? But he wouldn't take his helmet off.
That's right. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And then to the point where he's taking it off, and literally the culmination though is when Luke says, or he's like, he doesn't want to go with you, and Luke's like, no, he wants your permission to go with me, and then he holds him and he reaches and then pulls the mask off.
Man, you almost have to be a heartless human being to not get a little teared up in that one.
I feel emotional right now.
That's it. And and that was kind of, and obviously we watch other YouTubers and we watch other stuff that people produce. I mean, obviously we're all very passionate about the same thing. There's one thing that I was really impressed with was nobody hid their own emotions as to what happened at the end of that show. Nobody. People were very upfront about being choked up, having happy tears. And I mean, that's what, this this whole endeavor of Mandalorian has really become. You can say, yes, it's Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau saving the Star Wars universe, but it's really just an ode and a tribute and a thank you to 40 years of people that absolutely love this stuff. And I mean, they did such a good job bringing that together. And as you said, bringing out the human side of the Empire and bringing in people, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, like, Bo-Katan and Boba Fett. Like, these are characters people have been screaming for years, right?
Yeah, and Star Wars was in, like, there's no point sugarcoating. It was in a bad place fandom-wise. Like, the fans were divided. Like, if you were to go on a random post about someone liking Rey on Twitter, the comments were, like, insane. Like, people just spewing hate at each other. Like,
it's funny, though. You never saw that with Marvel, going back to a thing we did a while ago, how you were trying to tell me that the Star Wars universe was in such a good spot. And
it looks like it now, though.
Well, fair. It is now because a guy from Marvel saved it. Yeah.
So
put that out there.
Yeah. So now, like, to what you're saying though, I have never seen a show like this. Not only bridge the gap between all the fans, but then have a bunch of fans like cry and whimper like little babies.
Yeah.
When it was all said and done.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, to get that emotion from essentially everybody. Dave, John, you guys have done a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get Tyler to post a meme right now up on this channel, so hopefully it'll skip to that at this point, where it basically is on the top saying, you can't appeal to the new fans and you can't save the old fans. It's basically a picture of Jon Favreau saying, hold my beer. Hopefully Tyler will put this up right now. Yeah. I mean, that is the culmination of really what's happened here. And
I can't believe JJ said that.
Was that J.J. Abrams? Oh, Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah, man, was he wrong?
So what do we think of where, at this point, this is going then? So we've had, like, creaks into these doors that could be blown wide open. We've got the attempted saving of Mandalore. So Bo-Katan and her crew are all about getting the Darksaber, which we'll go into in a minute. And trying to save Mandalore. We've got Jin, who's now kind of, I'm going to assume he's at this point where he's contemplating helping the cause to be with other Mandalorians. He's obviously struggling with what's going to happen with the child. You've had Ahsoka Tano jump in, and we all know that her focus is going to be on finding Ezra, which is going to lead her to Admiral Thrawn, which is, again, this massive gateway that can be opened. So I guess hold on. I guess before we go into season 3, sorry to jump around here, I saw your explanation of the Darksaber. For those that watched this, the final review, I was pretty passionate about the fact that I thought that there might have been a huge miss here.
You weren't the only one.
And I stand corrected. I'm a humble guy. I'm the first guy to put my hand up when he's wrong. You're right. They would not have done this and created a hole in the plot. Yeah. There is a reason. You're right. It was not won from Maul. It was found. Yeah. That is an okay story. When you mentioned about Mandalore falling, perhaps you're right. Perhaps people didn't band behind her because she did not acquire the Darksaber properly. Yeah. There has to be, like, there's so much pride in the Mandalorian culture that there has to be a triumphant near-death experience battle in order to get the entire country to go behind you. And you referenced the line, like, if we'd have shown that much heart in the battle, we wouldn't have lost our planet. I think you really nailed it there. So I stand corrected. Yeah, I gotta go with you on this.
I went back and watched it, and, like, there's never any mention it has to be one. When it's found, it's like, oh, did you know this is the ancient weapon of Mandalore, of Clan Vizsla? If you get this, you might be able to unite the Mandalorian clans, which she attempts to do, but obviously going into the show, they failed, right? And I think we can make the assumption that there wasn't the story, the power behind it to do it, which is why now she needs to do it. So now setting up season 3, to your point, I 100% agree we're going into Mandalore territory. It was on Bo's thing, right? When they were doing the recruitment in the last episode was, we need the light cruiser, we need this to come back and take Mandalore. I hope you will come with us. Or, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
So saying that, we kind of talked about in the finale is, do we think that there's going to be a little bit of friction between Bo and Mando? Because right now, Mando has the Darksaber, Mando has the story. He's the one who defeated Moff Gideon. He's, you know what I mean? He could then be the ruler of Mandalore. So does Bo-Katan take a back seat like she was with Pre Vizsla? Right? Because she was Pre Vizsla's number 2
Correct.
when he had the Darksaber.
Yep.
Or is she going to be kind of power hungry and go for it? It kind of reminds me of Gladiator a little bit. Russell Crowe was
Maximus.
Maximus was a Spaniard, right? He was the reluctant leader.
Mm-hmm.
He just wanted to get back home. And Marcus Aurelius said, my son is many things, but he's not a leader. You know, Maximus, you are to be the rightful owner. Yeah, you're supposed
Watch
to be
that
the
movie a
rightful-
few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're right. And so with Bo-Katan kind of calmness and Din Djarin as Maximus in this thing.
It's an interesting comparison.
Because like Maximus, it wasn't even from Rome. You know what I mean? Like where Din isn't from Mandalore. He grew up as a child of
Maximus was
but he's
not
there.
You know, tainted by the politics the same as Din isn't.
Yeah.
You know, you make a valid point. Like,
So maybe he's the voice, the leader they actually need. And mind you, I don't think Bo-Katan's gonna go full communist and try to kill him. But like maybe with her support, I'm assuming it'll take her a while to buy in, but once she puts that support behind Mando, maybe that's where we're heading with it.
Interesting. I think you are gonna see the next season have a lot of wonderful Mandalorian politics to it. I mean, we got a taste of that in Rebels when Sabine Wren went home.
Yep.
Interesting. So you think we're going to Mandalore? Are we going to see more Ahsoka?
I think Ahsoka's tough because they've talked about the Mando being the jumping off point for all these shows, right? And that I believe Kathleen Kennedy and John have kind of said that the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and the other show, the Rangers of the New Republic, are all going to be interconnected, and Boba Fett in the same universe, and they're going to lead up to a climactic event, like crossover event.
Interesting.
So will we see her cross paths on Mandalorian show? I don't know, but will they meet up again? Absolutely.
Fair.
Will we see Grogu and Luke Skywalker again? I don't know if they blew their load on Luke in this one thing and that's it, but if you remember, Mando says to Grogu, I promise we'll see each other again.
Yeah.
And with how much of a breakout star he is, there's no way Grogu's just never going to be on screen again.
Can't be. There's way too much momentum.
Yeah.
Like,
so
my wife literally watches The Mandalorian
yeah.
to see what the child is going to do. Like, the diversity of fans that they've attracted because the internet blew up over the child, Baby Yoda, Grogu. I mean, they've reached out to audiences they've never even seen before. I mean, you mentioned the word Mandalorian, and there are toys and pop-ups and figurines all over your social media feed now. I mean, this is way bigger than just Star Wars.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to find a way to incorporate them. But are you going to have Luke?
Yeah. And like with Grogu's slow aging, it's not like you could fast forward a year or two and he's like a trained Jedi and like hopping on, with them on the adventures. He's still going to be the toddler, right? Or not even the toddler. He's still a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. But like, they got to kind of do something maybe, right? Because there's a lot of people who just assume.
As long as there's no Baby Jar Jar.
Well, there's a lot of people now assuming that Kylo Ren murdered Baby Yoda.
I mean, you have to assume that at this point.
And that's maybe 25 years till that event. Baby Yoda ain't going to grow up much more, so someone's still going to be taking care of him.
Yep.
So is he going to maybe leave after getting some training and go back with Mando? I don't know. It'll be weird seeing Mando without him, but maybe we'll get a season or two of Mando freeing Mandalore, and then he's like, you know what? I want my kid back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, the Book of Boba. What are your thoughts on where this is going to go? Like, my first thing was, he's now the gangster of Tatooine. He is now no Jabba, no Bada. Yeah.
I have no idea what they're going to... It kind of feels like not like an anthology, but kind of like your Hunt of the Week sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like that's when it says the Book of Boba, I'm thinking it of like, okay, this chapter he's doing this chapter he's doing this. But I'm assuming it's gonna tie in with all these other events.
And there better be some flashbacks.
Yeah. So he's gonna get involved in something. And I'm assuming we're going to see him somehow crawl out of that Sarlacc.
I was just going to say, everybody's got
Yeah.
questions as to how that happened. Obviously, his armor gets decimated before it gets a magic buff job on that one episode. Yeah.
So it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, and they are going full Marvel, like I said, with all these interconnected shows leading up to some big bad, and you got to like early favorites got to be Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? Like one final showdown in live action.
What do you think of the internet wanting Benedict Cumberbatch to be
I haven't seen
Admiral
that.
Thrawn?
Interesting.
So from what I've seen, the internet, you people are calling for Benedict are calling for Benedict Cumberbatch to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. I could not agree more. This is such an unbelievably incredible pick. I mean, I understand that he has someone that plays his voice.
I was gonna say, like, I'd throw my hat in Lars Mikkelsen's arena right now because he is a live action actor as well who does the voice. He did the voice so well. Yeah.
But if you look at Grand Admiral Thrawn and you look at a couple scenes from Doctor Strange, it is hard not to look at that and go, that is a 10,000% yes.
Throw the red eyes in.
Mm-hmm.
Make them, either
Interesting.
way, it's exciting. I'm just so
and the idea of seeing Ezra.
Yeah,
come to
Ezra.
life
He's
would
probably
be-
Ezra and Sabine now are the two I gotta see on screen.
Absolutely, and that's such a cute thing going in
I
there.
know.
It's so good.
Yeah, I want to see that reunion when they
For all
finally
you
find
gushy
out.
heads out there that were crying when Mark Hamill showed up,
Yeah.
you just wait till you see Ezra
Yeah.
holding hands with Sabine Wren.
Yeah. So one last point for me, speaking of Mark Hamill, I recently saw today on YouTube a deep fake of the last scene. So it was comparing what we got from Disney, and then someone did a deep fake with Mark Hamill's face, and man, the deep fake looked superior.
What's a deep fake?
You haven't seen those deep fakes? I don't know how they do it, but they could take anyone's face and put them on someone else's body, and it looks like. I'll show you after this video. You'll know what I'm talking about, anyways.
Maybe you can post a link to this. Can you do one of those dingy dongs right there?
Yeah, I'll promote that person's deep fake.
Yeah, why not, right?
But the biggest difference is, we've talked about it a lot. Well, people have talked about it a lot. Is the dead eyes in the CGI?
Yeah.
The deep fake, it's real eyes.
Yeah.
A guy sitting on his computer was able to do that and make it look better than what we got. I just don't know why they put through all that money to do that CGI face and not have it look as crisp. Because I would say that's my really only complaint after re-watching it. When he takes the hood up, it takes me out of the moment. Because to me, my mind registers it as, oh, that's fake.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
No, it's fair. Speaking of people and computers, this is where you can put up another link. Your Vader Luke mashup. This is not scripted, by the way. It's completely genuine. Very, very cool. The Rogue One versus this ending scene. Well done. It's only 3 or 4 minutes. Check it out. It is good.
I've seen
that is well done.
I've seen a couple of them, and I'm not to be biased, but I think mine's superior. I think some people were lazy to just rush it out of the gate, where I actually put a little thought and editing into it.
Yeah. All right, so is that it? Anything else you want to touch on? We've touched on Mandalore. We've touched on Boba Fett. We've touched on Thrawn and Ahsoka. The series and wrap up. I mean, this thing could be an hour and a half long if we went through every single episode and things we loved. I think the fact of the matter is that, and the way that I would like to kind of end my points on this is, this series so far feels like it's free of politics. It is the pure, unbiased, devoted love to a universe that yourself, myself, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, all these guys have grown up in different, times, being completely enthralled and in love with, and seeing the creative freedom that these guys have, and the team of people they're willing to take a risk on in terms of directing. I mean, it's almost surreal what they've been able to accomplish. And as you stated earlier, to bring old fans and new fans together and to introduce characters that stretch so far beyond the Star Wars universe, like Grogu, Baby Yoda. I mean, I don't know if in our lifetime we will see a better sequence of events. I just don't know.
It's crazy, and just being like you and me are Clone Wars and Rebels fans, to get Ahsoka and Bo-Katan ripped out of those shows and put live action
And
have it
nailed.
done well. Yeah,
Nailed.
like the amount of care and I
Detail.
say fan service, but like it's not like sometimes I feel people feel fan service as a negative. It's like I'm using that as an absolute compliment.
Yep.
Like
it's tribute.
I'm getting exactly what I wanted out of a show.
And out of the universe.
Yeah.
After what could be considered a slightly disappointing last 15 years.
Yeah. All we need now in The Mandalorian is some sort of epic space battle, and I'll be good. We've gotten a couple little like small dogfights. I need that little bit more epic scale battle.
By squadrons.
Yeah. But maybe that'll be part of the climactic event, right? Going after Thrawn, because
Yeah.
he's gonna have a fleet of Star Destroyers or something, right? So
100%.
we'll build up that budget to get there, Disney.
All right.
All right.
Do you want to sign us off?
Yeah. So everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy these reviews and look out for more content coming from me and Mr. Fabolous Flix over here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting back into it. I got some stuff coming out soon. Excited to be doing it again.
All right.
See ya.